Hi, this is Andrea again, and this is a continuation of looking at MailChimp email campaigns and doing the analysis. So quick recap, we started out listing the business questions that we want to answer. And so let's start out with this first one. How clean is our list? So we're going to look at bounce rates. So I've already prepped some of this. So I took bounce rate and send date, did a copy and paste from the data sheet. So the bounce rate and the send date. And I created a graph here. And then I also added another column for the target bounce rate of 1.1% that we had looked by doing an industry research on what that should be. And so I created this graph from this data set here. And so the green line is that target bounce rate of 1.1%. So right away you see that there's this big peak here. So that's an area that we can look further into. And then there's other peaks that are not as alarming, but it's other ones that we can look at. So overall, I did an average at the bottom here of all of the bounce rates. So we're at 1.02 for 2018, which is lower than this target rate, so this is good. But a question that came to my mind from looking at this graph is there a difference in bounce rates from the primary emails that we sent and then the secondary ones that we sent? So we can uncover some of that by building another graph. So what I'm going to do is I am going to copy this column. Oops, went too fast. Over here. And the bounce rate. I'd like to match this. Okay, and then I am going to sort so that all the first are together and all the second ones are together. Okay. All right, so we're actually going to do two different graphs. Over here. Okay. And so it helps if you highlight what you want to graph first. So then you insert a chart, and it automatically kind of selects a style that it thinks it's better for it. So we'll leave it like that for now. So that's for the first email, and then we'll do this one. Okay. So one of the things I like to do is relabel it, because usually it doesn't do the right title for first last. And we'll call this one bounce rate for second last. Oops. Okay, so it's you can't really compare this one versus that one. That's why I did it separately. But here you can see that high one was related to the first blast that we did. And here for the second blast, it seems to be, we have some, so we can, maybe let's add, it's always good to add that benchmark that we have. So call it target bounce rate, and it's 1.1%. So the way we add it here is you double click and then setup. You want to add a series. Let me select this. Okay. And actually, I think I like the other view. So we're going to change the graph to a line one. All right, so this is, this looks very similar to this. So I think most of the bounce rates might be coming from the first blast, but let's look at let's add that same thing to the second blast to see if it tells us any more info. We gotta change the chart type on that one. Okay. So because this is a closer or a lower range, you can see some of those peaks that may not have been as noticeable here. So we could also change the day range. So we already know that 15 is high, but let's say we want to set it similar from 0 to 2.5. So the way you change the range there is by putting the max here. So I think you have to enter it like this. There. So this one is, so maybe let's change it a little bit higher. So 3. Oops. 0, 3. Oh, I didn't do it. Okay, let me backtrack a little bit. So 0.0. Oh, you got to do it really fast. Okay, so I think we captured all of them except that 15. And we can change this one too, so it's a little bit more comparable. All right, so this is a better view, so you can see you have a lot more bounce rates for the first blast. And then another kind of double check that we can do is doing the average. Here, so that's 1.39 for the first. Okay, and this one is 0.59. So right away, if we wanted to reduce our bounce rate, we know they're mainly coming from the first emails, so that's where we'd want to concentrate on our efforts and really dig into why this number is so high. So that kind of helps cover the first question. So let's move down the list. So which emails are more likely to get opened? So we're going to look at open rates and look at these, try to answer these 3 different ones. So copy this one down here so we have this top of mind as we're pulling the data. So we want to look at open rates. So we have it filtered by 2018 here, which I had done to build the previous graphs. And I'm scrolling over to open rates. So let's bring in this data set over here. And I'll put it here for now because I think we want to copy some other ones. Change it to percentage. So we want to look at subject lines. So actually, let me start with a different one. Let's look at days of the week. So here we go. Days of the week. Let's copy that. All right. And I think this is good. Okay. So now what we want to do, we don't want a graph that shows Monday several times. So we want to group all Mondays, all Tuesdays, all Wednesdays, etc. Together. So we'll group that. Column A, yep. Sorted that way, okay. Then this might be a little bit more manual. If you can think of a faster way to do this, then that would be helpful, but let's go with this first. I don't really know exactly how to do this. This is just my first intuition. Oh, I missed one. Okay. Oh. Okay, and we'll probably want to put them in order at some point, but right now it's not as important. So let's go back to what is the benchmark for open rates, 18.5 or higher. So even before we start going further, we can already maybe pick out and maybe highlight them in green. So this one's high, this is high, this is high. Oops. I'll do bulk. I want to do bulk. Oh, okay. 30. Okay, that one, 100%. That one's great, but it's suspicious a little bit. Okay, so I basically did kind of above 30%, even though like technically this would be considered above that industry benchmark. But this kind of gives us a quick visual of, we have a lot on Tuesday that are kind of above that. Oops. All right, so I'm not sure if we need additional graph to show us this, but we can also mark the ones that are below like really low. So let's say let's do 10% or low, and we can color